Well, hello, Bob Dendry here, and welcome back to the channel. We're playing Transport Fever 2 today. We're going to continue expanding Dendry Transportation Systems. So we're in Huddersfield this morning, just having a look at our city, seeing how it's going, looking quite nice. Got a cool looking commercial building that's just popped up. And just before we go on, I wanted to just quickly run through some changes we made to the network last episode that sort of ended up on the cutting room floor. So we did improve our iron ore, coal, steel network. We've just extended our platforms and put on some longer trains just to increase our profit and to allow more goods to move. And with that quickly covered, it's time to get onto the meat of this episode. So I've spoken about utilizing part of our network expansions we've done for our fuel oil to run trains to Sittingbourne and beyond. And today's going to be mostly about getting that up and running. So first thing we need to do is get our Sittingbourne station in. And I'm thinking it may be a good idea to slot this in on the other side of our oil refinery. You can see our residential area is mostly this sort of part of the town. So I'm potentially thinking around here, we will need to build a small sort of bus network for this town. It's a little bit more spread out than Huddersfield is. And we're having some slope issues already, but that's alright, we just need to pull it along a bit. Now we might utilize this as a passing loop as well, this little area here. Now our challenge here is going to be getting this line back over so we can use our tunnel infrastructure rather than having to build more. We're gonna have to tunnel anyway. That's not great, but it might have to do. Okay, that doesn't look too bad to start with. We did definitely need to reuse that tunnel though. We're, running a little bit low on cash. So that's the only conflicting works we're going to have with our existing network. So we might hit play again, so we can start getting some cargo and some profit flowing while we're working on this. Our residential, once again, is on this side. Alright, and where's our residential in Dulverton? Looks like it's going to be on this side. Perfect. And Dulverton's actually quite a large town, in fact. So what we might do is pull this road back. And we might get a 4-track and a longer platform in here. When we can afford it. Yeah, this one will be probably a more major station, and we might potentially, if we do end up getting a line running down to Barton upon Humber and beyond, it would probably go from Dulverton. Oh, and we are way in debt right now. Okay, debt problem solved. Let's get that station down. And Dulverton here is probably another town where we are going to benefit from having a public transport network built up. Bawtry. Residential's on this side where we are, and probably a terminus is probably going to fit in quite well here. Yeah, lovely. And we ran out of money again. Happy days. I know there's definite ways to like maximize your profit in this game. I tend to I'm not the most realistic player, but I tend to try and make it a little bit more realistic in like the designs of the networks and stuff like that. Like I'm not a railway expert or anything like that by any means. But I try and make it how I would see it in real life. Ooh, too much slope. Perfect. That looks quite good. Okay, so we've got the backbone of the network all laid down. Let's add some crossing loops in. And then we should be able to go with designing our services and see what we're going to do with our existing passenger network. And we might get a passing loop in on this section as well. I think it's probably time to extend this section to double track as well. You know what I've done? I've put in all two-way signals here. That's not fun. All right, now that debacle's been resolved, let's have a think about how we're going to structure this line. So my original thoughts was that we would run a shuttle service from Hemsworth to Huddersfield and convert our full line that runs from Lyme Regis through Huddersfield up to Sittingbourne and beyond. However, I've rethought that. I think it actually may be an option for us to use Huddersfield as the terminus for our Sittingbourne line. That way we're not having one huge line and we sort of have a more even spread of where our passengers are going to be getting on and getting off. Otherwise, Hemsworth has actually quite a few passengers. So otherwise we're going to have everyone loading up at Hemsworth and then jumping off at Huddersfield, which might potentially cause a bottleneck or a shortage in capacity going towards Colne. So that's what we're going to do instead. We're going to run our Sittingbourne line from Huddersfield terminus. Next question is, what are we going to actually run on this line? So this is the Flying Scotsman. It may be an option. But we also have our fast electric as well. Definitely not running the Crocodile though. That much is certain. Now look, we've gone to the effort of putting down overheads for the full length of our line, so we're going to use an electric loco. So we'll start with one, and we'll just test it out, make sure it's working well, and then we'll go from there, and probably out on the second one. $140 is a good length. We'll just wait for some extra cash to come in, and we can get that purchased and running. I don't know if you could hear that, but there's some sulfur-crested cockatoos outside my apartment. They're just screaming. Now, while we've been waiting to get up the cash, we've actually had some new vehicles unlocked, so we'll take a look at those before we make a decision on what we're going to purchase. So we've got this very cool looking, what looks like a multiple unit, which could be an option for maybe our smaller lines. And we've got the A4, so the legendary A4 we have, which is a very fast locomotive. And we've also unlocked some larger and higher speed carriages as well. So we've gone to this trouble of building overheads, but I'm actually thinking we might go with the Flying Scotsman now. Because we can take advantage of the full top speed of the Scotsman. So we're going to do that now. Perfect. And let's get... We actually don't have a line set up. So we'll need to do that. Alrighty, and while we've got our new train getting up and running and starting to get into rhythm, we're going to get a public transport system up and running for Dulverton here. Dulverton's probably our best candidate to get some buses running, as it's quite a spread out residential area, and our station is quite a far way away from the sort of central residential area. So we'll get some buses running there, which hopefully should get some traffic shifted over to our station so we get some more passengers there. I don't think we'll fit a bus station in unless we put it sort of over here, which will still feed into our station. We can put it across the road from the station, that's probably much easier. What's our current reach of our station? Yeah, so we've got a couple of places we need our bus to reach. So over here, and sort of over here as well. It's going to be a bit of a loop service. I'm going to go with the slightly smaller vehicles. They load quicker and they're a little bit cheaper to run as well. So we'll get, we'll start with 3 of those. And we'll get them on the Dulverton loop now. What's the issue? I did build cargo stops. Okay. Alright, and we've got the Flying Scotsman coming in for the first time at Huddersfield. And how did it go? Nice. A nice little profit, $4 million. That has just put it into the positive. And I think we've actually got too many passengers waiting here already. Let's have a look how many are left over waiting. Wow, so we've got 47 still waiting at Huddersfield. And we have a full train, so that definitely tells me that we need to be upgrading to a second train. And how are our other stations looking? Sittingbourne's pretty quiet. Boston's doing okay. Dulverton's doing okay. Bawtry's quite busy. So yeah, it might be a good time to slap on a second train. So let's get this train cloned. What we're going to try and do, we're going to try and get it swung around and come back into Huddersfield, so that we don't have them running one after the other. Okay, perfect. So our second Flying Scotsman is almost full as well, so we've probably got about the right number of vehicles on the railway right now, but we'll see what the sort of lines are looking like at Huddersfield when our first Flying Scotsman gets back in. And as our final piece of work for this episode, we're going to get a construction materials chain running. So we've got a quarry here at Hemsworth, which we can link up to this construction materials plant at Sittingbourne. From there we can actually run trucks into Sittingbourne because it's quite close by. And we have an option of also running trains to Hemsworth or also Dulverton if we want to in the future. So we're going to quickly get that one up and running. Should be a nice quick build, and then we'll be all good to go. Change my mind on where I'm going to put the station. And that is tasty. Got a nice easy join up at this crossing loop. Okay, so our tracks are all laid down and good to go. Now we're going to have 400 production. And let's see what options we have here. And probably our tank engine's probably going to be a best bet. It's a short line. It's got a reasonable amount of power and tractive effort, but it's not going to be running very long on the shared line anyway, so speed isn't necessarily going to be an issue. Okay, and time to get our truck set up to run the construction materials into town. Just want to quickly check. Make sure that does actually reach. Yeah, perfect. I was just looking at it, I'm like, well, that is actually a while away from the factory, isn't it? But no, we're all good. Yeah, if we get a truck unload stop about here or so, that pretty much covers everything that needs construction materials. And we'll get 5 trucks to run our construction materials, and let's get them on. I've called it the brick line because the icon's bricks, but yeah, construction materials, we know it's not actually bricks. Okay, so first arrival of our quarry train into our construction materials plant. As you can see, it was not a full load. In fact, it was less than half a load. But we still managed to sneak in a bit of profit. And from here, hopefully, we can start getting construction materials loaded onto our trucks and get them into Sittingbourne. But yeah, I think that will be it for this video. So we've made a lot of progress. We've got our second passenger line up and running. We've increased efficiency along some parts of the network. We've got that quarry line running, and we've set ourselves up for some growth in the next episode. So next episode, we might do a couple of different things. We've got way too much fuel sitting at the Sittingbourne oil refinery, and we've got a couple of different places we can get that to. So that's just pretty much money just burning away there at Sittingbourne. So we'll want to fix that up. And we potentially might want to look at getting a branch line down from Dulverton, potentially down to South Shields here, which will give us a few more destinations for food and also for fuel as well. But that's it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. And let me know in the comments what you want me to work on next, because I'm absolutely open to the community deciding sort of our strategic priorities here for Dendry Transportation Systems. But until next time, I'll see you later.